Sentinel Prime in the mythology. So I felt that it gave us a lot of license to take a character who existed in the Transformers lore, but do something new with him and do something surprising with him, and find an Autobot whose betrayal could really emotionally impact Optimus.
I always wanted somewhere in the Transformers universe to do what I would consider a proper kind of Gundam, L-game, Japanese knight warrior kind of robot, because there's such a huge, great library of influences out there to choose from. I said, I know this is not going to fly. I'm just going to do it because I want to see how much of a slightly more traditional, cleaner design I can sneak in. And to my surprise, it actually went through. Ultimately, it had to be articulated into a more transformery language, but the basic shapes and gestures ended up largely kind of as clean as I had originally sketched them. It got articulated with extra sort of negative spaces and lots of mechanical parts and all that, but fundamentally there's some large contiguous flat surfaces on him that you ordinarily would never have made the cut, and I was happily surprised to see that it did. Some of the experiments we did where the face mask was extremely clean looking and sort of techie looking, I actually really like those, but I think, when you think of him as an older character, and obviously he has a huge story component and there's history behind him and all that, the decision to go with a more wizened and ultimately obviously a little bit piratey look was probably the appropriate way to go.
He needed to be something as big, if not bigger, than Optimus. And there was something about the fire truck that suggested ability, coming to the rescue, being on the side of right, that could subvert, our true designs with him. And Michael found a really cool looking fire truck. I wrote the script all the way up until we started shooting for the Michaela Baines character, with the assumption that Megan Fox was going to play that part again. She was in rehearsals a few weeks before we started shooting. And then, for one reason or another, it just became clear that it wasn't going to work out.
I had not seen Megan for about 8 months or so since Transformers 2. And when I saw her, she just didn't look like Michaela. It was just, I guess Hollywood sometimes has a way of casting a spell on women that they have to change their look, change how their appearance, I guess, to satisfy something. I'm not sure, but Megan's a stunningly beautiful woman, and we decided to go our own ways.
I guess we were all hoping that the family didn't break up, but it did. And we just kind of had to pick up the pieces and keep going,
It was difficult because we were a week away from shooting, and then we were a week into shooting, and we kept moving the Michaela stuff later and later.
We decided basically right away that we weren't going to throw out the rest of the plot of the movie and come up with a new plot that involved a new female love interest for Sam, but that we would maintain the idea that he was going to experience this adventure with a girlfriend character, and it would just need to be a new girlfriend.
Michael sent me a text message saying, you should really go to the audition for Transformers, and I assumed it would just be a small part in the movie, just a walk-on part.
Rosie came in. I think it was 400 or 500 women that auditioned. And there was a spark about Rosie that I really liked, and she, said hello, good morning, thank you to the crew. My crew very much appreciated it, so it was a breath of fresh air.
A few more emails went back and forth from me and Michael, and I honestly thought he was joking. He was sort of like, you were good, and this movie might be coming your way. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And then there was a couple of phone calls, and then it was like, okay, this could be going somewhere. And still I was unaware of the of the part.
With the audition, it was a serious audition. It was. She did multiple auditions in New York, and then we just put her with Shia, with the full crew, with the full set, and we put her through the paces.
It's just not fair, I feel like I'm not working with the Autobots. I feel worthless.
Well, getting a good job's hard for everyone, you know? Don't go into that little dark place that you go to.
I'm not going to place.
There you are. Place that
Hard
you
for
go
everyone.
to.
How many interviews did it take you?
Took me one.
That's what I mean.
Well, you know, one of us has got to work.
I would like to work.
You would?
Yeah.
Well, then get off your ass and go get a job.
I'm in the midst. I'm in the midst.
I was at home on the weekend watching this test, and I asked my wife to come over and watch it. And her reaction was, I want to watch her more. And that's a chemistry thing. That's not an acting thing. You can teach a person to act. You can't teach a person that. You either have that or you don't have that. It's a magnetism, it's an energy, it's something that makes you go, I want to watch some more of that. And when you see somebody who's never acted and they can project that, you know you got something special.
Michael called me the next day, and then it was like, okay, right, you're in.
What it did do is it opened up some story possibilities that didn't exist with the Michaela character.
Over the 2 movies, the Shia and Megan relationship had progressed quite far, and it was going to progress a little bit more if Megan had been in the movie. But the truth is we got to restart in a way, and it brings a freshness and vitality that really serves the story and Shia's character and her character, and it's an unexpected thing that we've witnessed. I think it was Sidney Pollack who once said, it's great to watch people falling in love, but it's really boring when they're in love. And I never quite understood that quote until I saw this happen, which was, wow, there's a whole nother level of energy and excitement that has been brought to the project that is reminiscent of the first movie.
I think that change is always good, and though it is hard to let go of the past and choices that have become familiar, that sometimes it's okay to do new things and to go down a different road. So, you know, we certainly all wish Megan well in her ongoing career. It was time for us at this time, you know, to have a new choice, and Rosie has stepped in extremely well and is also beautiful and fun, and I think that the audience will respond to her in the same way that they did in the first 2 movies with Megan.
First shot of the movie. It's the foot landing on the moon. It's kind of appropriate. Okay. Good. Feels familiar. Still exciting. Still nerve-wracking. See, I got the shake. You see that? That's just called the directing jitters.
3, 2, 1, jump!
The decision to shoot 3D was made fairly late in our pre-production process, but I think the benefit to shooting in 3D and releasing in 3D is a good one.
This is day 1. We look ridiculous, don't we?
3D. 3D. 3. Wait, I have to put my ice coffee down. Here, hold that. 3D.
Ready and action, moving around.
Jim Cameron was one who really told me I should really consider doing this movie in 3D, really take a jump at it. So we did a lot of research. I brought in a 3D camera system and a crew, and I didn't want to know much about the camera. I wanted to just play a game like, okay, I'm going to pretend like I'm on a shoot. I'm going to time it, and I'm going to go from here to here to here to here to here. Okay, I want to see how fast they can leapfrog. That wasn't going so smooth.
It has affected the way we shoot because it's much slower.
It's clunky, it's heavy. You know, to set up those shots is a different thing. When you got a 3D camera that's as big as that RV, you know, it does change the pace.
The amount of cables, the amount of crew, the amount of shit. You know, it was just like, this is gonna be a nightmare. But what was going smooth was me looking through the camera and then watching it on the TV and seeing 3D right then and there. And I'm like, this is very cool.
Neil, turn towards camera a little bit.
Most of the times when people shoot 3D, they'll shoot 15 days of 3D. We shot almost every day with a 3D camera, which is a lot.
They budgeted 2 weeks of 3D, but you know me, I told Ian day one, 3 hours in, I said, Ian, I'm keeping this the whole shoot. I hope you know that. We put this camera through more paces than it's ever been put through in terms of the car rigs, the cable cams, and the craziness that we put this camera through. And learned a lot about it. It really helped the movie. It's a much different movie when you see it fully in 3D.
I like it. It's a pain in the ass, but who said something being a pain in the ass is not fun?
What you see in the background
Ta-da!
is part of a building that will, in the movie, will be falling over.
When I saw the previs of the thing, I thought it was the most incredible sequence.
Once again, Michael Bay has outdone himself.
I don't think I've seen a more clever action scene ever. I think that thing is going to blow people's minds because it takes a gag you've seen before and turns it into something you've never seen before, and that's really hard to do.
I'm sure they've had something tilted before in a movie, probably like Inception or something, I don't know, but they don't have any robots walking around the building. We're always a step above the rest because we got robots.
When I say right, he's over here, and then I'll say left, coming back left. And then I'll say real right, go back away over there. Right! Yeah, got it. Good job. All right, let's bring our thing down. We're done for the night.
The engineering feat of the building sequence was a major challenge, and it all had to be engineered, done, built within 4 months.
The gimbal was actually built a different way. It wasn't just like a teeter-totter. It was hinged, so it lifted from one side.
Now, in order to achieve that, we had to build a special platform using hydraulics that would be able to lift the building up and be able to move that platform anywhere from 0 to 45 degrees, depending on what that building is doing at the time in the movie.
We used an iPhone app to figure out where a human can't stand. We found that 24, 25 degrees was very hard to stand. At 25, 26, 27, you slip, you're gone. You cannot stop.
We're going to go from 0 to 27 degrees.
I still think we need a little steeper.
Go 2 degrees, guys, for the shot.
I think we should go 22.
That platform is 1/3 of a football field.
We put 5 or 6 different sets in it. We'd go away for a couple days, and the set dressers would come in and redress it for a different scene and for a different floor. We had the cafeteria, the lobby, and all the offices on the different floors. It took quite a few weeks of doing that.
You get in there? No. It's a mind. You get in there, it's like the movie Inception.
It was bizarre. You walked into it. It's a square box, but your equilibrium is off.
When you're standing in there the first time and suddenly something flat goes to 26 degrees, and then everything is leaning, it's a fantastic phenomenon.
It's like being in Titanic when you're standing in there, isn't it? It's fantastic.
It's nauseous, that's what it's like.
The tilted building was a nightmare. It's a very hard thing to work in 30 degrees, 20 degrees. It's not normal.
Go, you. Come on, Jack. Oh, this is going to be hard. Ready? And 3, 2, 1, action.
When it was all the way up, you couldn't stand. You could crawl down it. If you stood up, you're going.
The interior stuff was rugged.
Rosie went right into the action stuff, the most intense part of the action stuff.
I really enjoyed the physical aspect of this film. I'm quite a physical person. I love that I got to do that. It was good. It's like being at the fun fair.
I said to Shia, I said, you know, I really want to bring the acting game up on this movie.
This is the Michael Bay acting class. He said, on this one, I want to try, think about a pet bird. You have a pet bird, and that pet bird dies. Think about that on the way down. And I did, and it helped. Thank you, Michael Bay.